All right. Hey, y'all. Hey, hey, hey. I am back again. Yes, y'all know I don't go live, but when I feel like we have some information to share, right? I come live, right? So today we had Whitney share with us about life insurance and the importance of life insurance in our women's group. So I wanted to come here on Instagram and have her join us so she can talk to us a little bit about how she got started in her insurance company and give us some benefits of some of the life insurance policies. So we're going to wait till she come on here because we're going to have a live conversation to help some people, right? About getting life insurance. I know right now we're in the middle of a crazy pandemic, right? And unfortunately, a lot of people have lost their lives, and people have had to figure out how they were going to be able to pay for those funerals, right? So, um, one of the ways that they can do it is through their life insurance, right? A lot of us don't have life insurance, and Winnie is going to tell us why it is important for each and every one of us to have in life insurance to protect ourselves. So once we are gone, we have that coverage so our family don't have to stress. They won't have to stress about paying for our funeral. They won't have to stress about paying any of our old debts. They won't have to stress about paying for our homes because that will be covered with our life insurance policy. So I'm going to get Whitney here on the line. I'm just going to invite her in. Hi, Ruth. How are you?
Night. I hope you're having a good Saturday. I hope you're having a great Saturday. Thank
Hey,
you for joining in. Hi, Whitney. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Can you hear me?
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is so much better. So
Yes.
I want to thank you so much. Oh, I'm glad to hear you doing well today.
Yes.
I
Thank
want to thank you
you.
so much for joining here on Instagram. I was just telling them about how we had a phenomenal conversation in our women's only group on Facebook
Yeah.
and how we decided to come over and share more about life insurance with everyone. So, Whitney, can you just tell us just a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah. So I am a wife, a mother. I have two boys. I have a 6-year old and also a 20-month old, so pretty young toddler. I went to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, VSIU. I got a bachelor's in paralegal studies, and then I also received a master's in legal studies from Webster University in St. Louis. And I am from Bloomington, Illinois, and I now reside right outside of St. Louis on the Illinois side.
Wow, that's phenomenal, Whitney. That's a lot of education. You go, girl. You got a bachelor's and a
I
master's?
do. I do. You know, they told
Wow.
us to go to school, so I
Wow.
went to school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Exactly. And so then after you finish school, you start working in corporate America. You had a few different opportunities in corporate America.
Yeah, so I actually after undergrad I worked for the Boys and Girls Club of Bloomington Normal. I was not a social what is it, sociology or social work major or
Mm-hmm.
child care education, but the Boys and Girls Club was a nonprofit that's near and dear to my heart. Even still to this day, I am on a young professionals board for the Boys and Girls Club of Greater St. Louis, because I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club. So I worked there for about 4 years. And then
Mm-hmm.
I went to an arbitration, like a subrogation firm, which deals with auto insurance claims and accidents. And then I worked for law firms. I worked for a couple of law firms over the last 2.5 years.
Very nice. Very nice. You educated, you're smart. You worked at law firms. So with all that education background that you have, all the corporate background that you do have, what made you decide to leave corporate America and start your own business?
I just, last year was a really tough year for Black
Yeah.
people.
Mhm.
Just social justice wise, I am a Black woman in America, and it was just tough. I have always kind of been the only Black person, one of a few, like two or three, in my office. And, it really wasn't that bad, at first, but when you start to hear like the different macroaggressions and just like the little things, oh, you speak so well, or you're so eloquent, or oh wow, you've got 2 degrees. Really? I'm like, what? um
Yeah.
yes, that's normal where I come from. Oh, where are you from? I'm from Central Illinois. Oh, did did you grow up? Was there a lot of gang? No. You know what I'm saying? So it really was just time for me to do something else, to be in a space where I could actually help our communities, and just feel like I'm actually doing something that's worth doing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah,
I
it was
know.
time.
I absolutely know what you mean. I've worked in corporate America many years. I have my real estate license, a bachelor's degree, a teacher certification to teach internationally. So I'm degreed and educated up.
Yes.
Right? Because that's what we were taught to do. We weren't taught to start your own business,
Nope.
create your own income, create generational wealth for your family. We
Nope.
weren't taught those things. And now that we have the internet and we have other resources to be able to start our own businesses and to support and help other people around the world and wakes them up more, right? From
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
traditional 9 to 5.
Exactly. And that's really what um, the mission of PHP Agency, that's my marketing organization that I'm with, that's really what our mission is. It's to change the face of life insurance. We are, I think it's about 53%, woman, and it's about 51% Latino or Latinx. I don't want to get that wrong. About 30% Black, and we are made up of immigrants. And we are, reaching those forgotten communities, those low and middle income Americans, those Black and brown communities. That's what we are doing. That's what our mission is, to make sure that they're getting this information and to make sure that they know that it is attainable for them to secure their own legacy and to also create that generational wealth.
Amen. Amen. And when you talk about, the minority communities and being able to go into those communities and to serve within those communities, right?
Yeah.
Um, the first step is to be able to educate them on the policies and on what life insurance can do for them and for their families.
Yeah.
So, what are 5 benefits or just a few benefits of having life insurance so people will know what it entails?
Well, life insurance is a very personal product. And a lot of people, they're usually just in it for sales, which is why they weren't reaching our communities. And you really weren't going to let just any stranger in your home. Um, it so that's really where we come from. And people really didn't think that life insurance was attainable for, Black and brown people. A lot of things that I've heard from, our community is, oh, life insurance, that's for white people, or life insurance, that's expensive, or you know what I mean? And I'm like, well, dying is also expensive. uh Putting together, those fish dinners and chicken dinners to sell, to bury someone, that's expensive. GoFundMe, that's expensive. They take 15% of what you raise. And you just have to be educated on, the actual products. And a lot of people, they're not. They don't really, there's term, which is a temporary insurance policy that those you can get from 10 to 30 years. That's how long they last. It just depends. And then there are permanent options. And with, the companies that I'm appointed to, they go up to age 120. That's how good those policies are for. So
Wow.
if are old as Methuselah, what ain't that what they said in the Bible? If you live to be, 121, you'll still have that life insurance, and the life insurance company will tell you job well done and give you a check. But people have to just know that it's attainable for all of us, and that life insurance, it does so many different things. And I don't think that people really realize that the new life insurance does that. Back in the 70s, there was really only the term options. And then they would want you to just buy the term and then tell you to invest the rest, because that's when the stock market was getting really big. But I mean, come on. You buy a policy, if you're able to get a $500,000 policy for $20 a month, like, let's be honest, are you really going to take that remaining money that you would spend on a permanent policy and,
Right.
as a low and middle income American, and put that into the stock market? No, life is already hard enough for you to be,
Yeah.
taking a risk
Right.
in the stock market.
Right.
So you're going to get what you can get for that little bit of money, and then you're going to keep it pushing. But really, life insurance, everyone is so unique, and all of
Yeah.
our needs are so different.
Mhm.
It's not one size fits all.
Right.
So for some situations, you'll need term insurance, and then for some situations, you'll need, permanent insurance. And there are some of those permanent insurances that are good. They build cash value, so you can be your own bank. That's what a lot of people don't really realize, that life insurance is also liquid, depending on which product you get. You put 200, 300, $400 a month into a policy, and you'll see that it's building up, thousands of dollars. And you can take a loan from yourself and not have to worry about going to a bank and getting outrageous rates, um, and have cash when you go to buy that building that you wanted to flip, or that home that you want to flip, or purchasing that car for your business, or, you know what I'm saying? People don't
Right.
realize that with life insurance, you can do so much more. It's not just for dying people. Um,
Benefit.
it
Mhm.
Yeah, the new life insurance, you can be your own bank. It
Mhm.
has living benefits, so if you get sick, or get terminally ill or chronic illness, it'll
Yeah.
pay you out a portion of, that your policy, to help with medical bills. The number one and two campaigns on GoFundMe are medical campaigns and funeral campaigns. That's not what that's not
Wow.
what
People don't
GoFundMe.
have life insurance.
Right. That's not
Yeah.
what GoFundMe was for.
Mhm.
That's not what it was for. And it's so attainable. It's so
Yeah.
attainable. You don't have to get, $500,000 or $1 million, $2 million policies if you can't afford that. you know
Right.
you can get a $25,000, $50,000, $75,000 policy, and it's not going to break the bank. Now, obviously, everybody is different, and there it has to go through underwriting. Um, so depending on like your health and things like that, that'll depend on what your rate would be. But I mean, term insurance, you can get that for a little bit of nothing. I mean, how much do people spend at McDonald's and Starbucks every week? Now
Right.
imagine if you took that money and put that towards, your life insurance policy. Or like my husband, he is a connoisseur of super expensive colognes and also gym shoes. Um, so imagine how much life insurance you could get if you took that $200 that you were spending on those shoes, or
Right.
that $400 for that Gucci belt that you're buying, or whatever, and put that towards a life insurance policy. Like,
Absolutely.
imagine what you could get. You know what I'm saying? People just have to open up their minds to different things, and actually to listen. People, I think they hear life insurance and then they want to run for the hills. Because they're like, you trying to kill me off. No, I'm trying to help you.
Right. And I think that goes back to what you were just talking about assets and liabilities, right? So
Hmm.
life insurance would be an asset to your life.
Exactly.
Liabilities are any type of consumer debt, right? Like
Exactly.
cars and shoes and, nice cologne or whatever it
Uh-huh.
is that,
Uh-huh.
you like to spend on, right? And I
Hmm.
think that the world has taught us what assets and liabilities are, but I don't think that they taught us right. They
No.
didn't. In fact, they didn't teach us right
Right.
at
Right.
all. Because life insurance is definitely an asset, and it's
It
a way
is.
that you can grow wealth.
It is. It is. You're essentially worth $1 million if you have $1 million policy, because it's an asset. You're worth $100,000 because you own $100,000 policy. It's an
Right.
asset. And a lot of people, they'll say, "Oh, I got insurance through my job." You don't own that policy. Your employer owns that policy. You can't borrow from that policy. You know, when you leave your job, that policy does not go with you. There's no Cobra for life insurance. You
Mm.
know, a lot of people don't realize that. And a lot of people don't realize that less than 3% of employer owned policies actually end up paying out.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
So if you're working for a company and you have, because most companies offer about 10K in life insurance, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So 10K in life insurance is barely enough to cover your funeral. Funerals, like the lowest cost for a funeral is about 10K.
That
It's about 10K.
That's at minimum. And when I talk to my clients and I'm going over what their insurable need is, I utilize what's called like the dime method. So debt, income, mortgage or rent, and education expenses for their children. And within
Right.
that first letter and within your debt, I ask them how much consumer debt do they have, and then I ask them what type of burial they want. Do you want to be cremated? Or do you want, a traditional funeral? And most time people are like, "Oh, let's just do $10,000 for my funeral." I was like, "Yeah, sure, that'll be fine if you want to be cremated, but
Right.
honestly, it's gonna cost you upwards of $15,000-$20,000 for a traditional burial, because you're not taking into account how much the casket's gonna cost, how much your headstone is gonna cost, how much the plot is going to cost, how much those services are going to cost, the printing of your obituaries, the programs, your repass. I know that I think repasses are only like black people things.
Yeah.
um But they're not taking into account all of that, and then that little $20,000, what's that going to do for your consumer debt? I'm just saying.
Exactly. So okay, so the funeral is covered, right? But now your family is left behind all of this debt, and you
Yeah,
still have a mortgage, right?
mortgage, your car, if you had any credit cards, if you had any personal loans, your family is left with that debt, and those debt companies, they want their money. They will still call you, even
Oh yeah.
though Aunt May is dead. Okay, I'm sorry Aunt May's gone, but Aunt May owed us $10,000. Do you got that?
Right. Right.
And insurance, life insurance, it doesn't get caught up in probate. You
Mm.
assign a beneficiary, and as soon as you let the person know that somebody's passed away, insurance company cuts them a check, usually within a week. And it doesn't happen that way with other assets. Other assets get held up in probate. The estate has to pay out their debts and everything. But when you leave that life insurance policy for your beneficiary, it goes to your beneficiary.
See, that's so important. So I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight, Whitney, and explaining just a little bit more, giving
Yeah,
us the knowledge about life insurance and why it's important for our community to start getting life insurance to create wealth, and also so that our families don't have to suffer when we are not here.
exactly.
And one more thing about you is that I know that you're a wife, you're a mom, you're very educated, got bachelor's, master's degrees. So for Whitney, what does Whitney do to take time for herself and have self-care, even though you have all these moving parts that's going on? Because as women, we don't take enough time for ourselves.
We do not.
How
We
do
do
you
not.
take time for yourself?
I don't take enough time for myself, and I should.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I just, stay up late at night and I turn on like Criminal Minds or some old show that that can watch me in the background, and it just gives me like a little bit of peace while I'm either entering a policy or something like that, or I take a few minutes and go bake some cupcakes, or you know what I mean, and just that relieves stress for me, baking or washing the dishes, or turning on the music while I'm doing that, or just sitting in the car for 5 minutes extra when I get back from the grocery store.
Right. Or even like taking an hour and be like, hey, this is mommy time.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
taking an hour for myself, just me, my book, my meditation, my music. Like you
Yep.
said, mommy's baking.
Uh-huh. Yep. Go out of the kitchen. Mommy will be with you. I'll let you know when it's done.
Right. Because I think that more women need to know that you're not the only one. Right.
Right.
It's so many women out here who are entrepreneurs, who have children, who have spouses, and
Hmm.
they're still able to do it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep, for sure.
But it's essential that we all start to just take that time for ourselves and have some self-care time. So in the future, Whitney, y'all didn't tell you about this now. In the future, in our women's group, we're going to be planning some women retreats, right? We're going to
Hey.
some women meetups as soon as all of this is over, and that's our goal, is to just get us women together so we can have some time for ourselves, because we're moms, aunties, sisters, entrepreneurs, wives. We're just
Right.
everything. We wear so many hats, and then we start to forget about us, right?
Yep.
And we have to be well to be able to take care of the world.
Yep. We do. We do. We can't pour from an empty cup. We cannot.
Amen. Amen. So thank you so much tonight, Whitney,
Thank
for coming
you for
on
having
and
me.
sharing. If you guys want more information, once this live is done, I'm going to tag Whitney to this live, and she can give you all the information about life insurance. And she do one-on-one consultations, so you would
Yep.
just have to make an appointment with her, so she can get you a one-on-one consultation. And we're going to have you back on. We're going to have you back on because we
Okay.
need to continuously, no, seriously,
Yeah, we
we
got to
need to
remind the
continuously
people.
be educated
Yep.
about, life insurance, ways for us to create wealth. And you have that
You're
knowledge,
welcome.
right, to
Hmm.
be able to help us and to be able to change a generation of people who don't have the knowledge like our parents did. Like, I think on the other live, you're talking about how the life insurance guy used to come to your house and
Yep.
sit down and everything. We don't
Hmm.
have that anymore. We
Nope.
don't.
You don't just trust random strangers. Life insurance is so personal. You're not just going to let somebody just come in your house anymore. The only guy that my mom used to let in the house was the life insurance agent.
Exactly.
And
And
he
then
got
when
paid
you were here, it's
faithfully
like
every
you got to go
time.
to the room. The life
Yeah.
insurance man is here.
Yep. Yep. Steve here. Steve was coming for barbecues, getting plates. Steve was part of the family.
Part of the family. So
Yep.
thank you so much, Whitney, and you have a
You're
blessed night.
welcome. Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.